All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 193. All right, I'm getting some hearts already. Okay, it's time for the daily update. So there's no updates on the conclusion or the verdict for the rent eviction situation. So we won, and there's there's like a 30-day period to appeal. Today's a weekday, I guess, and I have not been served with anything. I have no knowledge of any appeals to the verdict. The other thing that I've been working on is the Shopify Store, and there's no updates on that. So it's no sales. Still need to work on getting the Merchant Center working again. And if you bought anything, that should be shipped. Oh yeah, and I haven't heard anything more about strikes, so maybe there won't be a strike, or maybe they're going to wait until it's closer to Christmas. And once again, I have some block dedications. If you check out the Shopify store, they're getting expensive now. Timothy says hello. How's it going? Orthoplex 64. How's it going? So as I mentioned yesterday, I finished the marketing video. It's 100% done. It ended up being so long, I actually split it up into 3 videos. One of them is released, and so I have two more that are uploaded. And I guess I still have to review. I usually do a review when I upload, and the other one has a thumbnail for it, and I still haven't made a thumbnail for the last one, but I'll release that in a couple of weeks. Worry about it closer to then. For now, the short-term goal is going to be to do this new release of the terminal block mining game that I've been talking about with the scrollable lists. I want to get that feature out by day 200. So we're on day 193 now. And then after that, we'll move on to other things. And yeah, I guess so. Actually, because I finished the video, today was the first full day where I actually worked on this game. So I was I guess part of the reason it took me so long to get this list thing done, originally I thought it would just be like a one-dimensional list, and then I thought it'd make more sense if it can be like for the inventory, if it's like a column, like grids and stuff. And so then I figured it makes more sense for it to also be able to be a generic feature that can work in 2 dimensions. And just the approach I used had a lot of issues. And then there's other kind of edge cases I tried to account for, like when there's not many items on the list, to make them a bit bigger, but that was causing bugs. And but I think I'm getting closer now. So another issue, I actually fixed this today. So I had an issue before where for the crafting recipe, it was my text, like alignment justification algorithm wasn't working. And so it was actually cutting off the text, which is just kind of confusing. Didn't look good. I fixed that. That actually ended up being I think I had 3 different bugs in a few different things. So that's been fixed today. So now I can increase this, and it works really nice. So it makes sure that the text fits between here, and it makes sure there's at least one space padding, and it works with the multi-column character situation, so it works out to that. Oh yeah, and if you go out far enough, it switches the orientation of the list. So when it's really narrow and tall, it renders it in a vertical orientation. And if you go out like that far enough, then it switches to the horizontal scrolling. And then if you make it go way in like this, it's not it makes the best of the available situation. So I think that's a pretty good implementation. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the crafting list. What I think I may actually do now, I think there's a few edge cases I can to make it a little bit better, so I'd like scales and stuff, but I will probably just consider the list feature like almost done, and then I'll go ahead and I'll start like building the final implementation, so I actually try to use it with inventory items and stuff. So I have some test data in here. So those are the actual recipes. Oh yeah, I got some stuff to initialize. I'm not forgetting how to make a CPU. That's good. It's a very important skill to have. once society really collapses, we'll have to make our own CPUs all by ourselves. Have to just go right out, get a rock, and then smash a rock. Get some 98% concentrated silicon dioxide. All right, now I got some items. I got some items to test. Adding a scrollable list for the inventory. So this will simplify things quite a bit. Actually, maybe I'll implement crafting through this first. I'm looking at GitHub. What class is used to randomly generate the maps? The maps are generated in the chunk initializer thread state. So it's not very sophisticated. It used to be just like a pretty hard-coded list of like several elements, but well, it's actually not even that generic now. So I just, when I add a new block type, I just add it to this list. And the actual logic is quite short. Yeah, so the algorithm is, so I made my own multi-dimensional smooth noise generator. So it generates noise that's locally correlated in 2 and 3D dimensions around the origin. So that's the logic to get a blank sphere around the origin. Caves are just, if the noise is between these gradients, just make nothing there. Below ground That's where the ores generate. So if it's below a certain noise, then it's a rock. If it's between 0.6 and 1, then it, depending on where it is in the gradient, it just like divides that range 0.6 to 1, and she takes the index of whatever block is in this list up here at the top. Now eventually, if I get around to it, one of the things I'd like to do is make this a bit smarter. So because these are all real elements, they have like real density values and stuff, so I could maybe make the noise generator actually work with it could be like a density function. It could symbolize like real density, and then I could kind of randomly spawn the element according to its density in the map. I could probably get some more realistic geology with I could have one noise function for like the amount of, maybe like one noise function for temperature, one for water content, one for density, and depending on the combination of those things, that could determine, you know, which element spawns there. Because there's some iron ores, you'll get like a higher concentration of like a hydrated iron in an area with higher water content. Anyway, ideas for the future. Bash 1 says, hello again. How's it going? All right. Yoshikaga Kira says, hello world. How's it going? Is this how you became dangerous? This is not how. I do have a video explaining in detail, though, how I became dangerous. Now, I need to think about how to pass the events from... I want to keep the same interface with you press C to craft, but I'll probably make it global. Oh, nice. We got a super chat from, I guess that's probably Undux and Undtra Kid. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you're looking at doing, you asked about the noise function, right? You asked about terrain generation. Actually, if you look at an older history on that file, like maybe look at that file, the file's history from like 6 months ago. It's even simpler, where I don't have that. I just say like, if the noise is between this range, then make it this block. And if you're interested in terrain generation algorithms in general, you can look into Perlin noise. So I want to make it as simple as possible to craft things. But I was thinking, so right now you don't need a crafting window open to craft things. You just press the C key. So I'm going to figure out how the information is going to synchronize. Maybe you should change that behavior. So you have to have the crafting menu open to craft. Now I guess I should probably just make it global. I'll scrap that change. I guess what I'll have, I'll basically have like a mirror of this type of event. So when you change the selection, it'll send an event like this from the crafting thread to the client block model context thread. I guess maybe I'll make a separate class for a crafting recipe so that can exist independently. Crafting recipe or draw list item. And the concurrent viewers is low tonight. It's very mysterious how the algorithm works. Normally it hovers around 10, but then now that I have a video that's trending, it goes up. Or it goes down. It's not like the World Series is going on either. Not there's much overlap in viewers. Is that sarcasm? I don't even know. Is the World Series going on? I have no idea. Yeah, it seems pretty random. Actually, I've noticed sometimes the viewers will be low, and then someone will ask a question about something, and then I'll start talking for a while, and then once I talk about something, I think the algorithm like listens in real time and then uses that to determine who it should bring in. Ended on Sunday morning. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Is that baseball? Monday is rough, Yeah, I guess it's not much for an exciting day for live streams. Let's see. So now crafting recipe change work item. Weekend live streams easier to catch up with. Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of relatively consistent. like I said, it's kind of plateaued around 10 to 20 concurrent viewers. But I guess I also changed the monetization setting, so that may affect it in the future. TIWHC2 says, hi, what's this stream? This stream is where I work on my terminal-based video game. Let's see if I can get it compiled at the moment. So this is software development of a terminal-based video game that runs in the Linux terminal. It's a game where you can wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks of iron ore and other minerals. So this is what gameplay looks like. Currently I'm in the process of, I just added a scrollable list feature. So you can scroll in the terminal. And the next step will be, it doesn't actually change the crafting recipe yet. So the next step will be to actually make it. So this actually updates the current crafting recipe. And then I'm going to update the inventory area. So it'll use like a multi-column list for selecting items. I should reorder those.
Broke coding in Vim. What else do you code in? I tried coding in IntelliJ again recently, and it's getting bad. It's full of so many bugs. I had to fall back to an old version of IntelliJ because there was 2 independent bugs. They updated their terminal, which broke a bunch of stuff, and then also the VM options. I can't specify multiple VM options because their parsing is broken or something for that. And then today I was debugging something in IntelliJ, and there's a hover feature where you hover over something and then it drops down with some info, and you can go down the tree of what it is. It's like a tooltip option, and it would always display the tooltip on the opposite monitor, even if I maximize it, make it a smaller window on one of my monitors, and then it would display on the opposite one, and it would display over the toolbar that launches applications. But then when I would try to click on the tooltip to interact with it, it would click the item below, and so it would open other applications that were on the toolbar. So that's why I'm in the terminal. I mean, with the advent of all this AI stuff, maybe we could finally write an IDE that works. Didn't know it's that broken. Well, I don't know. I mean, every application has bugs. I'm not sure. I didn't really use IDEs for maybe a good 10 years or so. I was just trying to get back into them for all the AI stuff. But it's oh yeah, and I had really bad debugging issues where I would put breakpoints and it would just never trip the breakpoints. And if you go back a few days, there's a stream of me struggling to get the breakpoints to trigger for the whole stream. I mean, it works. It's there are cases where for stepping through with the debugger, it's so much faster than printf debugging, because you can just, if you don't know where the problem is, you can just hover hover over things. And but I don't know, we keep writing new software, but we don't fix the bugs in the old software. We just create new software with new bugs.
Let's wait for MS to launch GitHub Copilot driven AI, Visual Studio Pro Max. They have, I have played around a couple times with Copilot, just on the website on GitHub directly. Switch from PyCharm to VS Code. Bought PyCharm Professional. By the time they added Python 3.8, Python 3.10 was out already. Bought PyCharm Professional. How much is that? I mean, I guess paying for DevTools is probably worth it, seeing as how you know, if you have a standard tech job, you're worth on the order of, you know, at a good tech place, you're worth $10,000 a month or so. Makes sense to put a few $100 into tool investment. Daylight savings kicking in. Is that today? I'm not sure. The clock doesn't look like it's jumped yet. So quality products. Unfortunately, JetBrains is not that anymore. Yeah, a few people have said that. That's unfortunate. I don't know. I mean, I did a bunch of Googling and asked people what to use for Java development. But if what's the alternative? If IntelliJ is not the right thing to use anymore, what am I supposed to use for Java development? Already happened in the US. Yeah, actually, I didn't even really pay attention to it's around this time of year. Maybe I missed it. It happened. Do you think cloud is an overkill for most apps? Do I think cloud is an overkill? I don't know what that question is too vague. For most apps, the cloud just means like servers and stuff, and most apps now interact with servers. Eclipse is ancient. That's what I thought. That was my first impulse, but I don't know Eclipse was eclipsed by IntelliJ. That's what I assumed. I think I only see Eclipse in proprietary platform tools because they tend to fork Eclipse. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick with Vim forever and ever. Or maybe I'll eventually learn NeoVim, like everyone keeps suggesting. QNX Momentrix IDE, for example. It's a fork of Eclipse. There are consulting firms that still work on Eclipse. They use WebSphere with JMS. And all their Java classes are public static and attributes. I guess I want to, if I use something, I basically just want to use like whatever's the main thing other people are using, so I know it's not like when you have like weird bugs and stuff, like the bugs I had with IntelliJ. Like, because I don't want to have to file bug reports and babysit them and stuff. If other people are using it, then other people will discover the bugs and hopefully they'll get fixed. Wikipedia said latest stable release 51 days ago. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is still relevant. Eclipse is alive in Enterprise. Yeah, maybe I'll try it out again. Devin Phillipson says, "What you doing?" Currently, I'm working on developing a piece of software. It's a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore and other minerals in an infinite, procedurally generated universe. And if I get it to compile, then I can demo it. See, that's complaining about on crafting recipe change. Don't like consulting firms acting like they care about public, about the product they ship. Most of it half-baked. Yeah, I think the reason consulting firms would take over stuff like that is because that's a good It's just a good segue into getting business. Won't these compilation issues be already reported in an IDE? Could save a lot of time. Well, won't these compilation issues be already reported? You mean the issues that I encountered? I didn't check for all of them. I think I did Google to see if there was any, like, when I was trying to diagnose my issue. Because the way it happened, it just like suddenly broke in two different ways, and I was like, there can't possibly be two coincidentally like independent bugs on really specific things in this new version. So I Googled to see if there was anything, any known issues, but I didn't see anything come up. But one of them was with how you specify JVM options. So I presume that'll eventually affect someone else. Okay, that compiles. Game has evolved a lot since I visited your live stream a couple months ago. Excellent. I'm very glad to hear that, because to me, it doesn't change at all. It's been like the exact same thing every single day. Kira. I don't know what that means. Is that a reference to Yoshikaga Kira's display name? All right. So I guess I have no callback for like on selection changed. Canadian Jonathan Blow or John Carmack? I guess. You don't know. Are there many other competing Canadian programmers There's a bunch of there's a ton of small ones. I check Twitch every once in a while to see who's in the programming category. There's always like, if you go scroll down the page, there's a ton of people there who have like, less than 10 viewers. I guess it's understandable that it wouldn't be super popular. I'm pretty sure I would never watch programming live streams. Kind of boring. Canada has great talent. Everything gets sold to the neighbor. Yeah, more and more, like people always used to joke that Canada's not a real country, but the more I learn about the world, the more I think that kind of is true. Like we have a lot of resources and stuff in every country that wants to like steal from us or use our country. They just come here and take whatever they want, whether it's the US or the long list of other countries. Need for Speed was born here. And in Canada or US? IMAX. Is that a Canadian company or was it? Interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, there's a very long list of other companies and talent and stuff. All originates in Canada. There's a lot of YouTubers in Canada. Like I think there's a over-representation of them on like a per capita basis. Watching programming live streams. Anyone watched George Hutz? Yeah, I think I actually watched. I watched a few of his live streams. I never watch live streams live. I watch often. I'll watch them on like a replay. I think I maybe watched like one, but I'm not a serial watcher of those. Crazy 11-hour straight live streams. Uber Eats all the time. Does he? I know he did like a series of. He was working on something for a while. Does he still do those? See, I need a way to call back to basically the parent class. Love the space, but gotta go. Early morning shift. Have a good night. Your video about the CPU was awesome. Thank you. Glad you like it. It was a lot of work to procure all of those original components. It's really hard to find an authentic photolithographic quartz mask these days. Blew my mind. Well, now you're just getting started. Now you can start a long career building CPUs. I got some other videos about semiconductors and stuff about like different types of masks, and I decided to make a playlist. I put the how to make a CPU video in a playlist. So if you check my channel, click on playlists, the how to make a CPU one, that has like, I don't know, 16 million or something. But then the other ones, I have a bunch of other ones that I put like almost as much work as I did into the how to make a CPU one. And those other videos have like, some of them have like 2,000 views. What's your favorite Linux command? That's a good question. Actually, I made a video about that. If you check the playlists section on my channel page, there's a playlist called My Favorite Linux Command, and in that video, that little playlist, if you watch that, you'll find out what my favorite command is. I think you might need to delete the French language pack. Yeah, I don't like French either. I had to take French immersion when I was in, I forget it. At least middle school. I think in high school as well. And ever since then, I forgot all my French. Sudo rm-rf is the command just in case you ever need it. Actually, I prefer to use the rmdir command, because that only deletes empty directories. And then also you can safely use the unlink command to very carefully delete every file individually. So that way you can be sure you only delete the French language pack. You don't want to delete all the languages. Not Canadians love French. Only people from Quebec. And then if you go to Quebec and try to speak English, they'll get angry at you. What exactly are you doing right now? I am currently working on developing this video game that you can play in the Linux terminal. So I'm just mining some ore here. So all that stuff I just did, that added a callback. So when I change the selection, you can actually do stuff. So the next step for this thing will be on the selection change, actually send a message to the console or the client block model context thread. That'll update the current recipe, and then when I press the C key, it will craft. And then I guess I should yeah, I guess I will. Yeah, that'll work reasonably well. So that'll make it so globally when you press the C key, it'll craft things. I think right now it's only in the. If you have to select the inventory first. Maybe it's the map area. Yeah, so you have to have the map area selected, and then it'll craft. But I'll make it so no matter where you are, no matter what frame is selected, you press C, it'll craft. Yeah, that's better than what I was thinking about doing before. All right, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. And because I finally finished that video, or the videos, I'll be able to continue work on this tomorrow. Because there's really not much I have to do to actually get the crafting list to work. I think the only other weird thing is if you close the crafting menu and then open it again, it'll forget what is selected. I think the inventory does that too. Let me just check. For the inventory, that's not a huge problem. But for the crafting menu, it's not ideal. All right, so we have pyrite selected. Close current frame. Yep. Forgot the selection. All right, I guess that's another snag to think about, but I will overcome it and come up with something. All right, that's it for tonight. So I'll pick things up again tomorrow night for day 194. Have a good night.